This is the CKD Kia Carnival 7-seater in its range-topping high variant, and it is priced at 261,228 ringgit. Pricey? Nope, not at all. In fact, I think it's fantastic value for money. Seriously, try and name me a comparable MPV, or even car for that matter, with this combination of room, power, safety kit, practicality and comfort for the entire family at around this price mark. Mana ada? So, take your executive sedans and tauke MPVs and shove it up! And we're talking about official models, okay? So no cheating with those grey import. Now, I'll put up a price list of a couple of MPVs and cars on sale today so you can get an idea. And you must be thinking, yeah, the Carnival is undercut by the Star X by a fair margin, but its commercial roots are going to be a lot more obvious in terms of refinement and ride quality. As for the other cars, this against the executive sedans for space, not even a competition. Now, I won't bore you with the tech specs because all variants, the 11, the 8, the 7-seater, they all run the same oily bits. Under the bonnet, there's a 2.2-litre 4-cylinder turbodiesel engine with 199 horsepower and 440 Nm of torque. Enough to spin the wheels, according to a friend. Now anyway, all that power gets sent to the front wheels via an 8-speed automatic transmission with pedal shifters. And seeing as how similar they are under the skin, I'm not going to dive into how it drives this time around. My colleague Adrian has given that a go earlier on, so check out his review instead. As for the exterior, nothing much has changed over the 11-seater. It's still one of the best looking MPVs in my eyes at least. Especially if you're not a fan of the whole fridge on wheels kind of aesthetics. This one has a very strong SUV vibe thanks to the silver skid plates and roof rails over there. Now, over to the side, one way to tell the difference between the CBU and the CKD models, right here, the side mirrors. The CKD ones are smaller than the CBU ones. And the 18-inch wide-spoke wheels, still the same. They look a bit small in my opinion, proving how big the Carnival actually is. I think larger wheels might balance out the proportions a bit better. But the best part of this angle, right here, the C-pillars. The diamond texture and silver finish, in my eyes at least, adds a lot of visual bling, especially when you pair it to darker or more contrasting paint schemes. At the back, nothing much has changed except for this. Full width LED taillights over the 11-seater. Popping open the powered tailgate, and with all the seats up, we get this deep valley that gives us 627 litres of space, which is more than the 11-seater already. If you need more than that, fold down the last row and you're left with 2,785 litres, which is enough. And now we're taking a look at the interior, and what an interior it is. Compared to the 11-seater or even the 8-seater mid-variant, the 7-seater gets quite an upgrade in terms of toys. For starters, in the 7-seater, we get real leather upholstery over the rest of the range, which gets leatherette upholstery. And this two-tone colour scheme, yeah, really hits the spot for me. We get a massive 12.3-inch touchscreen infotainment system, and Apple CarPlay and Android Auto is very much present because it uses up pretty much the entire real estate of this thing. Now for me, details like this really marks it out over the rest of the competition because it makes the whole thing look a bit more premium. Some systems, they're not as nicely integrated as this. Also, there's a 12-speaker Bose sound system, and while I'm not the biggest audio expert around, I did notice that my usual tracks sound noticeably richer than usual. Let me give you a listen. There's also a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, which is a proper step up over the 11-seater's analog units. And let me tell you, it really completes the entire architecture. The display is crisp, it's fluid, it gives off a very satisfying feel. Yeah? And you have to know that this is only reserved for the high variants though. Speaking of high variants, let's see what else we have. We've got LED interior lighting, and considering how vast this interior is, I think it's going to be very useful, especially if you're fishing for small items that you've dropped. The front seats are 8-way power adjustable units with memory function for the driver, and we also get heated and ventilation functions. Now, I'm not sure why you need heated seats in Malaysia, but ventilation functions, whew, that one, once you get used to it, you cannot live without it. Trust me on this. And in this case, you can really feel it work, yeah? It's not just some token feature where they put it in so they can put it into the brochure. There's also a 360 surround view camera, which, considering the size of this car, is almost a requirement. FYI, the Carnival is longer and wider than the Toyota Alphard, yeah? Another feature exclusive to the high models are the dual power sunroofs. Now, some people may question the need for sunroofs, but for me, I feel that it visually brightens up the cabin and makes it feel a little less claustrophobic. Okay, in terms of storage, there's more than enough cup holders and slots to store all your trinkets. The center armrest storage is huge, and the glove box, yep, it's pretty big as well. As for USB ports in the cabin, we've got 7 in total and 2 12-volt power sockets. Last but not least, there's also ambient lighting. Now, all in all these changes I feel really helps to elevate the interior and ambience of the 7-seater over the rest of the range, which can still feel somewhat commercial, for lack of a better word. Yeah? And speaking of elevating the atmosphere, let me show you the biggest change on the 7-seater. The Kia Carnival 7-seaters pièce de résistance, the captain chairs, or as Kia calls it, the premium Relaxion seats. Anyway, yeah, sure, we can't sit as many people as we can in the 8 or the 11-seater, but do you really need that many seats for your family? Plus, I reckon that middle row passengers would prefer their own individual seats, yeah? And you know, the heating and ventilation function I mentioned up front, they're here too. But this feature really is the bee's knees, the one-touch recline function. Just push this button here, lie back and relax. Now, I cannot stress how important a feature like this is in a family MPV, especially when you're covering huge distances on your balik kampung journey and your passengers need to get a nap, alright? It's either that or you lie back, roll the sunroof back and go stargazing with your date. Romantic kan? The seats can also be moved forwards and backwards, left and right, using these toggles by the side of the seat. Now, I should also tell you that for the one-touch recline function to work, you need to have the seats moved inwards and make sure no one is behind you for obvious reasons. Because once the seatbelt in the last row has been buckled, this feature, yep, that's a no-go. As for storage space, middle row passengers, okay, let's see what we get. We get a cup holders, seat pockets, side cubby holes, and this sort of open tray right down the middle over here. Yeah, enough toys, amenities and space to keep everybody on board happy. Sounds like it's shaping up to be the perfect family vehicle, right? But hey, you know, don't just take my word for it. How about we ask my family? Hi guys. Okay, for the record, can we just have your height?
My height is 180.
180 centimeters, and you?
175 cm by the way.
175.
180 as well.
180 cm. 160 cm. Okay, folks, there you go. The height measurements for my family. Alright, everybody get on board. Let's go. Okay, so everyone's in the car right now. For me, it's very easy to get comfortable. Front position's all set up. There's still telescopic adjustment, so that's good. Front passenger, how are you doing for room? All good?
I'm comfortable here.
Okay, cool. What about middle row? Let's pan to the middle row and see. Guys, how are we doing? Room is good?
It's good.
Yes,
Yeah.
spacious and nice.
Have a look at the leg room, rear leg room. Headroom seems to be fine. Okay, all the way to the back. Last row passenger, how are you doing back there?
All good, but I might get a little bit uncomfortable for extended periods of time.
There you go. So, a little bit uncomfortable for extended drives. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so we're on the move now and it's time to find out just how quiet and comfortable the car is from the perspective of the rear passengers. Guys, how are you doing back there?
Yes, it's very quiet and comfortable. That makes me want to go to bed.
So okay, it's very comfortable.
What about last row?
The seats are pretty comfortable at the back. Quiet as well. It can be a little bit bumpy, but only sometimes.
There you go. And speaking of comfort, there's also sunshades for the middle and last row passengers, you know, in case things get a bit too sunny. Then, there's the added advantage to losing the middle bench seat. Accessibility to the last row is made a lot easier. Another brilliant part about the CKD Kia Carnival is the safety kit that we're getting. Mind you, the full ADAS suite is only available on the high variants, so wow. Oh, and speaking of full ADAS suite, I really do mean full because it's a long list, so I'm just going to project the features on the screen for you. But how does all this fare in practice? Well, the smart cruise control, or adaptive cruise control to you and I, works as advertised. No complaints, it's very smooth. There's also low speed follow and lane assist, so that makes easy work of the traffic jams. In fact, there was only one time where I had to stomp on the brakes and cut the system out because a car merged in front of me quite abruptly and it didn't pick it up in time, so just that one close call. Aside from that, all smooth. The blind spot collision avoidance assist feature actually did its job once when, stupid me, I missed a car in my blind spot and decided, hey, let's indicate and merge out. It gave me an audible warning and then tugged the steering wheel back in. So yeah, I mean, in a car this big, blind spots are bound to happen, so I feel that this is one of the more important features. All these features are super important because on long trips, on long drives with noisy children and demanding passengers, the driver is bound to suffer from some form of fatigue, and it doesn't have to be in your face, but just a clear, directed warning is enough to snap the driver back into focus. And I guess this is where all these features come in. So, thinking about it more and more, all the safety kit on board the 7-seater Kia Carnival is really making its case stronger by the minute. So there you have it, the CKD Kia Carnival 7-seater High. As I've mentioned at the start of the video, I don't think you're able to find anything on the road today with such a potent combination of space, safety, power and practicality for the money. Yes, 260,000 ringgit is a lot of money, and you might not even be looking for MPV. You'll say that I'm comparing apples to oranges, but all I'm stating is, you can't get any more car for the money. Remember, the Toyota Alphard and Vellfire easily break the 300k mark, and against recon units, you don't get an official manufacturer's warranty. And in the case of the Kia Carnival, 5 years of free service. I mean, if I could afford one, and I was in the market for a family car, I know what I'm getting. And on that note, we'll call it a day. Thanks for watching, please subscribe, hit that bell icon, and catch you guys in the next one. Drive safe everybody.